Not Made. My name is Rachel, and today we are going to go over what I made or what I crocheted this last week. And our location for the week is our Airbnb. So this is the Little Silversmith Hogan, and if you're interested in it at all, even just out of a curiosity, not like I'm trying to get you guys to come, but yeah, come. Come on over. I'm gonna do a little quick walkthrough at the end of the video, so if you're not interested in that and you're just here for the crochet, you can totally skip that part. I won't be offended, honestly. Also, it was kind of a mess when I did the walkthrough because I was coming over to clean, so if you hear anything in the background, it's the washing machine, because again, I'm over here getting stuff cleaned up between guests. So I decided to go ahead and use the opportunity while there were no other people in this place to do my weekly What I Made video. So I don't have a lot to show you. Again, I need to probably just stop saying that and just be like, this is what I have to show you. But I do have a lot to say. So buckle up for that one, because there's a few things. My dad went to Thailand recently, and I ended up with this bag, and it's super cute. Like it a lot. Okay, so I can finally show you the pattern test that I did talked about last week, but I couldn't show you yet. Anyway, it's officially releasing today, and I am totally drawing a blank on the name of the shop. So it will definitely be down here somewhere. This is the first time I've ever tested for this designer, and it was a really great experience. Her pattern was absolutely gorgeous. I love the way she had designed it. It was just a beautiful pattern. It was fun to look at. There were lots of pictures. It was fantastic. I had absolutely almost, I think, no notes on it as a pattern tester. I think I just had one little thing that would make it a little easier for us to keep track of rounds or something like that. But it was nothing, nothing that was difficult in the pattern. Now, this pattern was designed for a like acrylic weight yarn. And so when I applied to test for this pattern, I was like, I would love to test this, but I would be using a bulky yarn, blanket yarn. So she decided, yeah, go for it. So anyway, in the pictures and everything else, the pattern, you know, it's gonna be, just keep that in mind. But it definitely works for a blanket yarn. So this pattern is called Pigs in Blankets, or a pig in a blanket, I'm not sure which. And this is my pig in a blanket. I used Bernat Mystical for both the pig and the blanket. And the blanket is just a corner to corner style blanket. I currently have it pinned right now with a stitch marker, and it's not working well, as you can see. I'm gonna take that out actually. I feel like these plastic stitch markers tend to stretch after a while and they get a little bent out of shape. But I think what I'm ultimately gonna do is put a little button here and a loop. I just didn't have that with me at the time that I made this. So the blanket, again, just a little square, corner to corner style blanket. This was the Mystical, I don't know the color, but this was one of the ones that I bought at Michael's, and it's super soft. Like, why don't we use blanket yarn for blankets? We use them for all these different plushies, and I never think to actually make a blanket out of them. It is so soft. Okay, and then here's the actual piggy. Oh my goodness, you guys. I cannot get over how cute this is. So this is the Rose Quartz Mystical yarn for the piggy. And this was just a solid color something. I think this was the one that I got from Walmart actually, so it's like the Walmart version of blanket yarn. But that's what I had on hand, and just a little sleepy eyes there. So this pattern, oh, and a curly tail. You gotta see the curly tail. There it is. So this pattern, the where does it start? Now I can't even remember. It's been a minute. It's not no-sew, okay? It could be lower sew than it actually is in that pattern, but I feel like patterns that are written for acrylic yarn are often higher sew. All of the limbs were sewn on. These definitely could have been crocheted in, but they weren't. I cannot remember now off the top of my head if the head was sewn on or if it was worked in together. I'll look at the pattern and I will post it down here. But as far as it goes, you know, the feet are both individual. You can put them on the bottom like this, or you could put them up here, be more of like a sitting pig. The little snout is separate. It's just a flat piece that's stitched on. The ears are crocheted separately and sewn on. So it's not a low sew pattern, but also the sewing is not that difficult for what it's worth. And I'm not a big, huge fan of sewing, but I am a big, huge fan of this piggy. Absolutely love it. It's adorable. And the fact that it comes with a little blankie as well is just, you know, awesome. So that is the pig in a blanket. And that was the pattern test I did last week. I'm gonna skip ahead to my last thing I made this week, and then we'll talk about the middle thing in just a second. So the last thing I did was also a pattern test. This was a pattern for double Dutch crochet. I have done one of their pattern tests before. It was Oscar the ostrich. They have such fun critters, let me tell you. I just love what they come up with. This one is Quinn the quokka. Now, I could be saying that totally wrong, but that is my rendition of this critter. It is a Australian marsupial, and it's known for constantly looking like it's smiling. So this was so cute, absolutely adorable. There's no tail. If you don't know what these are, you definitely need to look them up. It's Quokka, maybe? I don't know. I'll put it on the screen. But Quinn was absolutely adorable. And a quokka happens to be my son's girlfriend's favorite animal. So this is going to be a gift for her because I know she'll just get the biggest kick out of it. Fun fact about quokkas is they throw their babies at predators. So they're terrible mothers, but they're very adorable creatures. No, technically, I guess they don't throw them, but they do drop them if they're being pursued by a predator. So take that for what it's worth. But anyway, I just thought it was cute. I did embroider these eyes. I, you know, only brought a few eyes with me for this excursion, and I didn't have anything the right size, so I've just done that. And with that up close look at Quinn, you may have noticed the arms are slightly different shade because I lost the yarn chicken. So I started this with a Premier Basics, probably steel cut oats, I want to say, and it took more than a skein for this this little critter, but just by barely, guys. I mean, I could have maybe got one of these arms out of the last and then just done the other, but I just decided to do both arms in this different color. I don't think it's too terrible. It's gonna annoy me to death, but this is a gift, so I don't have to worry about that too much. Anyway, what is Quinn worked up as? Quinn will be available on the 14th, maybe? I could be wrong about that as well, but I will also put the correct date. I'm just gonna correct myself with text all throughout this video, okay? So you will have that information, but yeah, it's coming up. And how has it worked? It's worked from, the head is worked separately, okay? So there is sewing involved in this pattern. You do the head first with the fun little shaping for the cheeks, and the ears are worked separately and sewn on. The snout is worked separately and sewn on. The nose is worked separately and sewn on. And then mouth is embroidered. Eyebrows are embroidered, and I embroidered eyes, but you can also use safety eyes. And then there's a fun, you know, face shaping instructions on there as well. So then that's set aside, and we work the body from the bottom to the top, and then we sew these two together. The arms are worked separately and sewn in because they are at that angle. Kind of want that forward arm thing happening, and the feet are also worked separately and sewn in. Now, I feel like you could crochet these feet in if that was something you wanted to do. It definitely goes in kind of and around. It's just a few stitches, so it's really no big deal. It would be harder to crochet it in, so That's probably why it's sewn in. But anyway, yep, and there's a fun little, you know, hippie hip shaping in the body as well. But this one was super fun, and I just had to do this one. I applied to this one so fast because I was like, I love it. Those are such a unique and fun little animal. So seriously though, look up an image of a quokka. They are just the cutest little smiley looking critters on the planet. So we'll just forgive them for the whole baby throwing part. Alrighty then. So let's get on now to the part of the show where we have drama. Okay, maybe drama is too extreme of a word, but I don't know what word to use for it. This was my one bun bun pattern that I did this week. This is Tad, the frog, and you may have seen his sister Lily in a different video. I did him with the yarn from Hobby Lobby. So it's slightly thinner. It's a weight 5 yarn. And so his vest is a little biggish looking on him, which I'm gonna give him a button too. He kind of needs it. Here's the thing with this pattern. When I did Lily on the video, somebody commented that they had tried Tad and they got really confused on the vest part, the little cardigan. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I haven't done that one yet, you know? And then I started seeing in the group chat for the Bun Bun Challenge that there were a lot of other people who are also experiencing difficulty with this vest. So that piqued my curiosity. And then when I got to it, I thought, well, you know, maybe it's just whatever, just a little challenging. I could not do this vest. I could not figure it out, not for the life of me. I went and I frogged it, ribbit, several times, and then I posted it in the group because I could not get it. I was like, the stitches are not making sense. This round doesn't make sense with the next round. And I was told it had been tested by multiple people and it was correct. So I was like, well, I am not interpreting it correctly, so I need help. Now, this was the positive in this whole experience. So these patterns are all bun bun style patterns. I guess it's like a series, you know, people have their different series where it's similar body styles or similar construction, but it's a completely different critter or character or whatever. So Madeline has made, well, there's like 38 of them, something like that. So anyway, she's in the chat. She did say, you know, it's right. It's been tested. I would like to have a chat with those testers because I'm not sure how that part of the pattern made it through testing without somebody saying, hey, this needs help or fix it. Because I would not ever have been able to make this vest by reading that pattern. And I've been reading patterns for 20 years. Okay, so I'm not a novice pattern reader. And I understand that there are certain patterns that are more challenging than others. And sometimes you have to try a couple things, try it a couple ways to figure out. Designers write things differently. I get that, but this was completely not readable in my opinion. However, Madeline very generously was like, hey, just call me over, you know, Instagram through the chat and I'll show you. So I called her. I was here cleaning the Hogan and we did the first several rows of this vest together. And when I tell you that there was 100% no way I would have ever interpreted what I was seeing there as what this needed to be, it just isn't. And that could be a me thing. I'm not saying it isn't, but also I feel like if there's enough people who are struggling or tripping over a certain part of the pattern, that may be a clue that that part of the pattern needs to be rewritten. She did say this was one of her earliest patterns. So, you know, I'm not knocking her. I am not a pattern designer, okay, by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm a pattern reader. So if we can't read the pattern, how useful is it really? You know what I mean? So anyway, all of that to say, if you've ever tried this pattern and you struggled with this vest, you are not alone. And that's why I feel like when you're testing patterns, you know, I often feel like I don't have a lot of feedback to give when I'm testing patterns. So I've tested patterns for Stacy at Apple Tree Boutique, and I've tested patterns for, you know, Cassie at Pieces of Scrap, and they have written so many patterns and they've had it tested so many times, and they're constantly, you know, working on improving those patterns, that I feel like I seldom have anything critical or, you know, like, oops, there was a mistake here to add. There's only been a couple of times where something was just like a typo in the stitch count or something like that that I've managed to catch. But I feel like if I were testing this pattern whenever it was in testing phase, I would have been like, you know what I mean? So anyway, that's all about that. I don't want to come across as like a pattern snob or anything like that. I'm just somebody out here with a crochet hook and some yarn. But you know, when you come across something and you're already reading a foreign language when you're reading a pattern, right? It doesn't make sense to people who don't know crochet, but people who do know crochet should be able to figure out the pattern. That's all I'm saying about that. And I, you know, now that I know what's supposed to happen with this vest, I could do it again. However, I would never be able to do it again if I were trying to follow what's written as the pattern. So for what it's worth, those are my 3 makes. I've got my pig in a blanket, I've got my 1 bun, definitely need to get on that. I've got to get my 1.5 in per week. I think I only did 1 last week. And my quokka. So those are this week's makes, and I just was, I was just invited to test for the, one of April from the Cozy Buckeye, new patterns coming up. So I'm very excited about that. So if you're interested in seeing a little walkthrough of this Hogan, and it's very small, so it's short, but I also blab about some happy mail I got. If you want to see that, that's coming up next. And if not, I'll see you next time. Bye. Welcome back to the Van Chronicles. I'm on my way over to the Airbnb because I needed some space. I actually got some happy mail. I ordered something from Ella at No Catchy Name crochet. She's got a crochet channel, and she just is incredibly amazing with all the stuff she makes. But I didn't order anything crochet. I ordered something that she sews. So anyway, I'm gonna open that over there, but I thought I would take you with me really quickly and give you a little tour of this Airbnb that we are managing with my my in-laws. So it's a family business. We obviously don't live here full-time, but we're up here for the time being to keep this thing rolling. But I think it's a really unique experience, which is kind of what we wanted. We wanted something more than just your typical Airbnb. So this area is Navajo Nation. So we took inspiration for this. Sorry about the dinging. I'm not putting my seatbelt on just to go down the dirt road. We took inspiration for this building from the traditional Navajo Hogan. My husband is Navajo. His mom is Navajo, and so we decided that this would be a fun little way to kind of highlight maybe the Navajo culture, but in a more modern a more modern edition, I suppose. Something that you would want to stay in on a vacation. So anyway, I'm going to take you on a quick walk through just so you can see it. Now keep in mind, it's not staged right now. It's not ready because I'm coming over here to clean, obviously. Some of it's done. The bedroom I think is ready, and everything else I started yesterday. But I just want to give you a little sneak peek into what I'm doing besides crochet, because to be honest with you. I was asking myself this morning, I was like, what day is it? And it is Friday right now, currently, while I'm filming this, and I have done almost nothing crochet wise. I did get some stuff done, not nearly as much as I should be getting done, but here we are. It is what it is. So, all right, let's go check it out. And I'm going to show you guys what we did out here. Hi. All right, so this is the exterior. Now, a Hogan is an octagon-shaped building. It's not generally this big. If you want to think of more traditional Hogans, you could probably Google that and just kind of see what we're dealing with. But this one has a nice wraparound porch, an entire building, and the siding is gorgeous as well. So let's go ahead and get in here. Okay, take a second for the lock to think. All right, so again, it's not staged, okay? So the sofa bed is an extra. We had 4 guests in here. This is basically basically a 1-bedroom apartment, but it can sleep 4. So this is, I probably should have cleaned it first and then done the walkthrough, but I just wanted you guys to see it, get an idea for it. That's in a propane fireplace. It also heats. TV, obviously. There's internet. This is for cooling. Let me show you some of the view, because we're out here in amazing country and the view is pretty spectacular. So, yeah, out that way. Anyway, it's got a, full kitchen, all the appliances, stove, dishwasher, fridge, all of that good stuff. And the vaulted ceilings go up to the middle like a traditional Hogan would. And then we have, of course, the master bedroom. I need to open windows. But it's a king size bed. It does fit in here. A little bit snuggish, but it's nice. And then of course you've got your regular bathroom, all the major plumbing that you would want, shower, all of that good stuff. So, and washer dryer in case you need it. So anyway, that is just the brief tour. It's very small, but it's still quite spacious. So I'm gonna go ahead and get busy making it shine so that the next guest who's checking in has a great experience. But I wanted to open my Happy Mail, so let me grab that. Okay, I actually remembered to bring my tripod so I could do this. Got this pretty pink package. I already know what's in here, so. For me, this is just a bit of nostalgia from my very early childhood. Wrapped up with the pretty little thank you sticker. Okay. And again, this is from No Catchy Name. And Ella, she made this, and it is a tote bag, but it's the theme, the fabric that just got me. So, where are my 80s people at? We got Strawberry Shortcake, which I have been seeing her everywhere recently, so maybe she's making a comeback. But this is a really, really fun tote bag. It's just gonna be my yarn project bag. I love the straps, Ella. These are, well, I don't even know what you would call this, but they're very sturdy straps. It's got a snap closure, and then it's lined on the inside with the pretty blue fabric. But I'm gonna have this be my project bag for the rest of the time that I'm up here. I kind of have a different one. It's just not quite big enough. Friends are the best. Oh, you did such a good job. It's so pretty. I love this. And it's got all the little friends on the back. I only ever had Strawberry. I had a large strawberry doll that if you squeezed its belly, it blew strawberry kisses. And then more recently, they did the Target a number of years back now had some of the, they kind of like brought back the OG little dolls. And I had gotten one of those just because my mom got it for me for Christmas. You know, I was an adult with children at that point, but it was just the nostalgia. So anyway, that's awesome. I love it. Thank you so much, Ella. This was great work, and I am definitely going to put it to good use. But for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and get busy and get this building turned over, ready for guests, and then I will see you guys probably in the next video, because I think I'm gonna end the video with this clip in case somebody doesn't feel like watching the the walkthrough. They can see the crochet content first. So we'll see you guys next time. Bye.